Taxonomy. All living organisms can be classified according to the characteristics of each species. Such classification system, called taxonomy, has been being modified and developed with development of life science. The early taxonomy classified species by their appearances, whereas the modern taxonomy classifies species by their molecular biological properties, such as DNA sequences and amino acid sequences. The taxonomy system had been modified over time to consist of 2 kingdoms, 3 kingdoms, 5 kingdoms, and finally 6 kingdoms and 3 domains. In the early 18th century, Linus introduced a binomial taxonomy in which moving organisms are classified into Animalia kingdom and non-moving organisms into Vegetabilia kingdom. Not long after, with introduction of microscopes in the late 19th century, microorganisms, which were classified into neither of the 2 kingdoms, were discovered. So, Hegel introduced the 3-kingdom taxonomy, including a new kingdom of Protista for organisms made of single cell. Later, he further broke down the kingdoms to classify organisms made of cells without membrane and nucleus in the Monera kingdom. Finally, he introduced a 5-kingdom taxonomy by adding fungi kingdom to classify fungi separately from the planta, which can photosynthesize. The taxonomy we use now consists of 6 kingdoms and 3 domains, which was proposed by Woos. The 3 domains consist of bacteria, single-cell organisms with cell membrane, Archaearchaea, single-cell organisms without cell membrane, and eukaryotic Conococta organisms made of cells with cell nucleus. The eukarya domain further breaks down into Animalia, planta, and fungi kingdoms. With the development of life science, the taxonomy will become more specified in the future. All organisms can be classified as follows: species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom, domain. Species is the lowest rank in the taxonomy structure and the kingdom, the highest. Some organisms are further divided into subspecies or intraspecies. The organisms of the same species are capable of reproducing fertile offspring. Wolves and dogs are both within the species. Canis impes and a wolf and a dog can reproduce a fertile offspring. A female horse and a male donkey can reproduce an offspring, which we call a mule. However, a mule cannot reproduce an offspring, thus horses and donkeys are different species. Is virus an organism? The entire world is currently overwhelmed by the fear of COVID-19. Now, where does virus fit into the taxonomy of 6 kingdoms and 3 domains? Virus does not belong to any of these kingdoms and domains and is considered to be neither organic nor inorganic. A virus can only survive on a host organism, without which it becomes as inorganic as a rock. An organic substance must be able to independently sustain its life, which is impossible for viruses that has no enzyme, a protein that influences chemical reactions in a living organism. Moreover, viruses readily evolve and mutate to adapt to new environments and host. This is why we find various mutants of COVID-19. Accordingly, the researchers are facing difficulties to develop a vaccine or a cure for the disease.